Well, a very good morning to you this beautiful Thursday morning, the third day in the month of July 2025. We bid you welcome to VOP this morning right here on Voice of the People Television. I am David Edwin, and this morning we definitely are poised to give you the best of information that you need at a time like this. Now, today on our conversation this morning, our talking point is the fact that former Minister Rotimi Amaechi dumps APC and says President Bola Tinubu cannot govern Nigeria. Interestingly, another conversation we'll be looking at again later today is that the ADC national chairman hands over and of course presents membership cards to David Mark and Rauf Aregbesola. You would recall that these people just joined the APC. I mean, the coalition is on. These are what and more are what we'll be talking about this beautiful morning.
And still talking about the state of the nation, insecurity and economic challenges that Nigerians are having. Army chief claims Nigerian army has denied terrorists opportunity to destroy the nation's borders. I am Fina. Okay, Chico, and those are the major topic of conversation today, but we have other interesting trending stories that we'll look at before proceeding to, other part of this morning show on Voice of the People Television. If you've not really subscribed to our YouTube channel, we encourage you to do so. On YouTube, we are at Voice of the People TV, and on all the social media platforms, the X.com, the Facebook, the TikTok, the Instagram, we are at VOP TV Live. And we have a website where you can get fresh and trending news. The WhatsApp is www.vop.ng. Just click on that and enjoy and thank us later. And talking about trending stories, the petroleum products marketers have reduced the price of premium motor spirit in Nigeria. And the president of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria, Abubakar Gandhi, disclosed this in an interview, and that was just yesterday, Wednesday, the second day in the month of July 2025. He said the members of the association in northern Nigeria, including Abuja, have slashed PMS price. When we're talking about the PMS, we're talking about fuel price from Wednesday to between 913 naira and 914 naira per litre, from 945 naira and 975 naira per litre, respectively. In Lagos State, Gandhi said IPMAN members dispense petrol at 819 naira per litre, down from 925 naira per litre. He added that IPMAN members sell fuel at between 950 and 960 naira in eastern parts of the nation, Nigeria. And this particular one sparked wonderful reactions on social media and even on the lips of Nigerians walking on the street and even maybe in front of the newspaper stands and all that. People are asking what really happened, because we learned that the war between Israel and Iran also disrupted the price of the crude oil, or up to the fact that we have crude oil now being sold at a price of $80 per barrel and all that. And what really transpired? Why are we seeing the reduction in the price? Before now, just because of that particular little spike, we saw the price also increase in Nigeria. Even the people that did not buy their crude oil at this point in time from the war-torn country, we saw that actually played out in Nigeria. It was Dangote before that do reduce the pen prices. He would say we want to give bonuses to Nigeria, maybe 10 naira reduction, right. 20 naira reduction, 50, 40, and all that. And NNPC then decided to follow suit because we saw that there's competition, quite a high competition in that particular sector, looking at the oil and gas sector in Nigeria. But now that IPMAN is saying that their members have also decided to reduce price of PMS, price of fuel. In the eastern parts now, it's no longer what it used to be. People can buy for 950, 960. And someone said something yesterday, said, this is my country, Nigeria, where most of the things we got to hear or talk about actually only reflects on the paper. We not really see that trickle down to every Nigerians who are the ones buying this particular product. How can we say that the prices have actually reduced when motorists, commuters still collect the same amount of money from people that wanted to enter the buses at the bus stand? If you're to get to a bus stand today to say you're traveling, they'll tell you, no, the price of fuel is very high. A colleague of mine traveled, I think last week or thereabouts, and then he made a wonderful revelation. He said that from Lagos now to Onitsha, Anambra State, using a commuter hires bus cost her 44,000 naira. 44,000 naira. And I asked, is it festive period? Are we having Christmas in middle of July or June? And then she said that was how much she paid. And I said, okay, fine, let's see how it goes. And today, just today again, I got another call from someone saying, man, the price is still high. I said, what's happening? And they said, the price is still 44,000 naira. And I said, with the reduction we're getting from Ipman, why is it that people who own transportation companies are not allowing Nigerians benefit from all those fuel pump price reductions that even Dangote have given one time and now it's coming from Ipman?
Well, if you carefully look at the trend of conversation surrounding the oil and petroleum across the globe, you will discover that global oil prices have been volatile for a while, and that brings to fold the fact that this particular reduction might just not be sustainable, because when the global oil price skyrockets, it simply means that the same price in Nigeria would also skyrocket. But I'm not even going to go at the part of sustainability, which is very key anyways. It's very key because if you look at it from the perspective of the marketer themselves, they also believe that if the prices are reduced, and then of course it's going to give them a bit more money, a bit more confidence to do business, within the country. But let's look at the fact that the law of gravity does not even happen in Nigeria, where you find prices of food, petroleum products go up and they don't come down. It's just unfortunate because, just like Fina rightly pointed out, if traveling from point A to point B is going to cost you almost half of your salary, then you want to ask yourself, what exactly are you doing with the salary? In other words, reduce the purchasing power is feasible in all fronts. So economically, you can't even do right. Economically, you can't even buy. So that again brings about the conspiracy theory of some persons who did say and accuse the president of some of his campaign statements: reduce the purchasing power, increase the tax net. All of these things, you might just say he said it at the time, maybe for campaigning sake, but this is what is happening presently. Some persons cannot even go to the market and get things, food stuff to eat, because of course salaries are not increasing, businesses are not even doing well, people are not coming to buy. Manufacturing Association of Nigeria did say a couple of days ago that products are stocked in the warehouses and nobody's buying them. In other words, no fund to buy these things. So we can do better. Kudos to the Ipman team reducing the prices. We're hoping that this would maybe be visible in all fuel stations all across Nigeria. And this is hopefully the way to go. And again, it goes to say, how are we going to manage the situation when some of the refineries are shutting down, even after the government did, of course, celebrate that we have our refineries working. But anyways, let's get to other training.
Which refinery do you have that is working, brother? Calm down. Which one is working? Is that the one that we were told that it had to undergo 1 month, let's say, repair?
Yes.
Going on there, that's in Port Harcourt. Or is it the Warri refinery that backed up again 1 month after we were told that it's working already? Which one is really, really working?
So, the parts...
They're all in comatose state.
The parts where, we bring... I don't really want to go in there.
We must go into it
because trust deficit has become a major conversation.
Is there anything you have to hold on to
Nigeria
at this point in time? I don't see the reason Ipman will be reducing the fuel pump price. The likes of NNPCL, their own is still the way it is. They've not reduced this, it's still the way it is, still static. Moscow, Dangote last week reduced its own ex-depot price from what it used to be maybe to 830 or thereabout, something within that range. But NNPCL, they are yet to reduce theirs. And we're talking about refineries that are working. I want to know the one that is working at this point, because I am a Nigerian and it hurts me when people who, I could recall them when they were talking about how desertification or how, the Saudi Arabia actually does not really have anything much actually to offer to bring because of the fact that they are there in a desert area. But now if you go to Saudi Arabia, the people who are burned there are enjoying everything because of the oil that they have. Everything is being subsidized. A child is born today, she or he is enjoying the government, the proceeds from the land,
right,
till when the child become an adult to give back to the society. But in Nigeria, from the first day of my birth, I've been hearing that Nigeria is going to be good till today. I'm already an adult, and yet I'm not seeing anything.
The part that really gets at me is when I hear some older folks say, we experienced the good old Nigeria. At that time also, some people were complaining, but it's not as intense as it is right now. I went to a supermarket just yesterday to get something for the house, and I got to uncover the shocker of prices in the market. And I told myself, okay, I would now do the law of diminishing return. This is of priority. This
You have to do alternative for gone anytime you want to get to the market. You must do it. Scale of preference must
scale of preference just came in immediately. I started doing my plus and minus. And this goes to say that even what you earn is not visibly enough to get anything for yourself or even your household. But hopefully, we're hoping that this price reduction might have a reflection on the prices of goods and services in the part of transportation. That's where I'm going. In the part of transportation, if hopefully transportation reduces, which I do not see happening. But again, let's just be hopeful. Hope is the only one thing that a Nigerian person, and of course humans, should hold on to. Let's get to another training conversation quickly. The African Action Congress AAC presidential candidates in the 2023 general elections, I'm talking about Omoyele Sowore, has vowed not to be a part of the ongoing coalition of opposition figures ahead of the much anticipated 2027 election. A human rights lawyer, Deji Adeoju, had in a post on Wednesday morning called on Sowore to join forces with the opposition figures to wrestle power from the All Progressive Congress in 2027. However, in a statement posted on his Facebook page, Sowore declared that he will not join the coalition, labeling the opposition figures as corrupt leaders. Sowore said he won't join the movement because he did not join Atiku Abubakar looting the Nigerian customs dry. He also accused former President of the Senate, David Mark, of stealing funds meant to fix telephones, stressing that the former lawmaker also helped to crush our democratic hopes on June 12th. Sowore alleged that former Minister of Justice Abubakar Malami, who is also a member of the coalition, violated human rights and looted the treasury under Muhammadu Buhari's watch. He then accused former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai, of orchestrating the alleged killing of Shiites and fueling genocide in the southern part of the state. Well, this is a conversation that is ongoing, and when I say a conversation, I mean the coalition conversation now is ongoing. You don't know who is going to join who to, of course, join forces together to wrestle power in 2027. But you know what comes to mind is the fact that the public sentiment on campaign tactics. A lot of persons have, been asking questions. Why is some oppositions from particularly the party that seemed to be the biggest in Africa at the time, I'm talking about the People's Democratic Party, PDP, are now jumping ship out of the party and forming a coalition? And then you also find aggrieved members of the APC joining coalition with these same opposition. So politics, as it's always said, is a game of interest. But the conversation around the people who are forming this coalition, as said by Omoyele Sowore, is one that, yes, should be of concern, because here's the thing. Ideologies of these persons matters. Should we say at this point Nigerians should look away from the antecedents of these people in the past, political records of these people in the past, and see them as repented politicians, in quote, to want to believe them at this time? Again, this also should speak to the part of Nigerians at a time like this, where every single one of us should do what is right when it comes to our votes. Take away ethnic sentiment, take away religious bias. Vote your conscience when it comes to the next election. I mean, for some persons living in Lagos that wants to, go to the polls, as concerning the local government council polls that will be happening a couple of days from now, if you would vote, and of course it is your civic responsibility to vote, please vote your conscience. Do not vote because of traditional and ethnic sentiments. This has not helped us in any way. Neither has the religious bias also helped us in any way. Vote your conscience. Vote for who you believe can change and can do better in the coming election from your perspective, and not just, tending towards the religious or political ethnic bias. No, let's do what is right. On the part of Amaechi Showret, sincerely, his conversation of pinpointing what these people have done in the past is critical. I mean, it's a wake-up call for all Nigerians. But we always know that Amaechi Showret would not want to join forces with the opposition. That's just what it is. He would want to stay as lonely as he is to fight the cause. And he believes in that ideology. So if that is his belief, let's stay to it. My personal opinion.
Amaechi Showret is entitled to his opinion. He's a Nigerian, so
Right.
he's actually using that particular fundamental right that he has as a Nigerian, freedom of expression. As one thing I know he had to enjoy. But the thing is this, when you look at the persons, he made mention of people and the crime, according to him, that he committed, even the ones that were kind of allegedly and all that. Now, you find out that he is someone who has been there from the fact, from the time that he was the SUG president of Unilag and all that. He has been a vocal person in Nigeria, especially talking about government and their activities or towards Nigerians as the people that are being led or people that are being governed. But now the thing is this, if Showret says he's not going to join force with these people, I am this person that I love when people criticize to crystallize. He would have come up to tell us the person that he's going to join force with. Because he as a person, he should tell himself the truth to understand that a particular political party at this point in time, or a sole political party at this point in time, actually, cannot come up to say, I want to run solo. The votes will be divided. We saw that happen in 2023. When we were crying about the former administration under the then President Muhammadu Buhari, Nigerians were crying that they suffered this, they suffered that. And then people decided to go cast their votes based on their platform, political platform, individually, and the vote was massively divided.
That was the change agenda.
Exactly. Amaechi Showret also come up to say he is not in support of this government because of the fact that we've seen him being vocal about protest, #end bad governance, take it back movement, this, revolution now movement and all that. He has been there talking about how the government is not really treating Nigerians well. Then, what then is he saying that Nigerians should do? He was a presidential candidate of AAC. I was tempted to ask how many persons actually casted vote in his favor when he came out actually then to say he's contesting that position. Right. What then is he suggesting that Nigerians should do at this point in time? Because he even went further to talk about Peter Obi, saying that Peter Obi should not call him. He's not going to join forces with somebody who also helped somebody at Tinkan Ports. Which he believes, according to him, is what is Nigeria is dismantling Nigeria's brick by brick. He's saying that. So now, if for example, the likes of Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, El-Rufai, Malami, and David Mark, and other persons that we've heard talking about this ADC coalition and all that, they are not viable enough, they are not good enough to do this. Then who then is he suggesting should be good? Is he the person? Are we going to look at him and say he's the one? He was vocal when Goodluck Jonathan was the president of Nigeria. He talked, and he also talked about protests too. And finally, Goodluck Jonathan was, he was ousted. And then we'll have APC come on board. And Nigerians is then are still calling that we are not happy with this, we're not happy with that. We saw what happened, and till today, it's still happening. People are still dying. Insecurity that people come up to run their manifestos on. They are yet to still handle it. Yes, last week, Oshobole told Nigerians that the reason we're having economic wars is because of what happened during the time of Buhari. Still under APC, which that government is continuing. The present president told Nigerians that I'm going to continue from where my predecessor stopped. And he is doing it. I'm not going to say he's not doing it, he's doing it. And then he's saying that he's not going to form any coalition with anybody. No problem. It's his own opinion. I understand. But I was expecting him as a Nigerian youth, as a vibrant youth at this point in time, to come up to say this should be the way forward, not just to criticize every other part of it and then stay back. Because we know within ourselves that social media don't cast the vote.
Oh yeah.
Social media, we don't have voters there.
That's a major reality.
Social
media votes don't count, and that's why I said earlier that. It's up to Nigerians at this point. We shouldn't, again, tend towards traditional or ethnic bias or even religious bias to want to cast our votes in the coming election. Again, you were talking about the fact that Omoyele stood alone. Yes, it's normal for people to stand alone.
Nigeria is not doing independency candidate.
No. He has a party. I mean,
AAC
he stays with his party.
Okay.
But wanting to join the coalition, he believes that the ideology of these people does not align with what he
why
believes.
won't he look for the people whose ideology align with what he believes in and form another coalition with them? Because we know he is aware that the AAC at this point in time might not be able to, be a formidable force against, only if he's telling Nigerians at this point in time that the Revolution Now movement and the Take It Back Now movement and every other movement that we've seen him being part of, the protests that he's organizing, he once organized in Abuja and all that, talking about the bad governance and every other thing, maybe he's just playing a lip service to it. Because if he come up to say that he is not happy with this present administration over the fact that Nigerians are suffering multi-dimensional poverty, then I believe the best thing in the interest of Nigeria now should be to look for a better way or a way forward to make sure that Nigerians enjoy and reap the fruit and dividends of democracy. Not just saying he want to run it solo, That's what I'm just saying.
Well, if he says he want to run solo, 2027 is still a bit distant. We wish him well, and we are hoping that, of course, Nigerians decide who they believe would lead them to the El Dorado that we all desire. Let's get to another conversation because of our time. A video has surfaced online of President Bola Tinubu's branded plantain chips, reportedly being prepared as part of a grassroots campaign strategy for the 2027 general election. Now, the snacks are packed in plastic rubber containers, boldly inscribed with Jagaban 2027. That's the one you're seeing on our screen right now. Jagaban 2027 door-to-door movement, suggesting an early door-to-door mobilization plan. The video has attracted widespread attention and stirred debate among Nigerians, many of whom question the seriousness of launching such tactics this far ahead of the polls. The man featured in the clips, I beg your pardon, insisted that he is not campaigning, but was only given a contract. He makes it clear that his involvement has nothing to do with political loyalty and anything or everything to do with money. Well, oh boy. So again, when I saw this, I don't know if you have a video of that. Can we just take that video if our producers are ready with it in just a couple of seconds? Okay, I understand that we don't have that video. Okay, but then this is the conversation that is ongoing. 2025, mid-2025 campaign, door-to-door campaign has started. That goes to ask the very salient question: where does governance truly start and end if we're starting door-to-door campaign at a time like this? The general election is still in 2027, and as it stands, governance is still faulty on all fronts, economically, security-wise, agriculture. You can't even place your fingers on what is truly working in Nigeria. The educational sector is also having issues. So, again, the APC would want to come out to distance themselves from this, which, of course, might just be one of those kind of conversation that we keep having. But my position here is whoever did sponsor this campaign, what is the intent? Nigerians are concerned about the current economic situation of the country. Insecurity has bedeviled us to the highest level. I mean, lives, again, what's the value of life? These questions beg for so much answer, and we're just hoping that someday soon we get to start doing it right. So even if the ruling party sees this kind of videos trend on social media, what should they do? What can they do to get in the people to say, okay, this is this individual doing this for themselves. We are focused on governance and not this campaign at 2025.
David, you're the one calling this campaign. I'm sorry to say, with all due respect to the political, to our election empire. Let me use that word. Because I can recall earlier when Nigerians are talking about the fact that we're seeing billboards being erected in states. We're seeing billboards everywhere. We also saw a particular senator when he cross-carpeted from the opposition party to the ruling APC party, and he went back to a particular town, a local government in his state, to with the brooms and everything for saying, see, this is whom you're going to go with. This is where you're supposed to be, because he was promised another state, a new state creation. And then we also talked about the fact that so many persons, even the likes of your brother, Orji Okalo, also went to the Senate the other day, putting on a full regalia who is supporting, and all that. And Nigerians were asking, what is really happening at this point in time? What is really happening? Are we campaigning already? Is this not going against the Election Act and all that? If we're going against the Election Act at 2025, it's supposed to be, I think, 100 and something days to the election, and 24 hours before the election end all campaigns. Guess what we got? There was a reporter that came up to say, initially, APC, they were the ones denying all this particular, the posters, the billboards, and also distancing themselves from the fact that people were talking about how they were campaigning when they should be governing. And then they said, we're not campaigning, we're not the ones in support of this. I guess these are mischiefs. These are members of the opposition and all that. Until when somebody come back to make them understand that, no, you can actually distance yourself from this by saying that there is nothing like votes there. And then they use that particular semantic to say, did you see anything like votes on this particular thing? People have the right to come up. If I drove through the airport road the other day and I saw door-to-door mobilization, and I saw the picture of the president, and apart from that too, it was being sponsored by someone. The person's name was there. You understand? Just like these chiefs are talking about also being there. But now the thing is it that APC are jittery over this particular major talks, the coalition talks that happens to be on the lips of political bigwigs in Nigeria? Because I don't see the reason they will not go further to the point of, customizing or cresting the face of the president on cheap snacks, talking about door-to-door mobilization. But anyway, 2027 is not too far, it's not too near. In no distant time, we'll get to that date. And when we get there, according to what INEC have made Nigerians understand, the day for the election also be made known. And people are expected to go out there to cast their votes and then exercise their civic right and do the needful.
All right, well, let's quickly dive into what the front pages of the national dailies are saying because of our time. I'm going to start off with the New Telegraph quickly because of our time. Let's get to the News Telegraph, where the banner headline here reads, Reps step down Senate bills, Senate bill protest delay of 146 House bills. The subwriters of that particular paper, of that particular headline is to debate creation of 46 new states, 117 local government areas, 86 bills at zonal hearings. Interesting one there. Well, above that banner headline, there are other headlines that read, Edo Guba, Supreme Court adjourns judgment indefinitely. The subwriter of that one, Ibadan. Court convicts social media influencers for Naira abuse. El-Rufai, God saved me from embarrassment of being part of Tinubu's government. I take that again for emphasis. El-Rufai, God saved me from embarrassment of being part of Tinubu's government. 400 explicit videos. Ex-Equatorial Guinea's ANIFDG and Goga jailed for 18 years. D.D. Combs acquitted of most serious charges, convicted of prostitution-related offenses. Well, above the nameplates there are other headlines that reads there. IMF projects Nigeria's GDP growth at 3.4% on strong reforms. And the subwriter of that particular one reads, Lord's CBN, country positioned to resist external shocks. And that's according to Wale Edun. Well, there's a major pictorial there, but beneath the pictorial, let's quickly take the headline there. 2027, defectors will run back. PDP wants members targeting new coalition. And of that particular headline, the subwriter, coalition to prevent Nigeria's descent into one-party state. Mark Wosu, we are ready to sacrifice everything for our nation. Pan-African unity will advance black race. This according to President Bola Tinubu. ABGA, Anambra South primary election fixed for July the 21st. Subrider, 6 aspirants yet to nominate consensus candidates. Trump, Israel agrees to condition for 60-day Gaza ceasefire. And the bottom strip there, particular headline there, loss of grip strengthens linked to early psychosis signs. And this according to studies. Well, Fina, you want to take one more paper before we just wrap up quickly?
And that will be the Delhi Independent newspaper. And the banner headline on the cover page of the Delhi Independent newspaper today reads, 2027 election, move to unseat Tinubu revs up as coalition tweaks strategies. I'll take that again. 2027 election moves to unseat Tinubu revs up as coalition tweaks strategies. Right after that story, adopts ADC, party exco resigns, Mark Arebashola leads party. Mission is to rescue, rebuild Nigeria, save democracy. That's coming from Mark. Laments Tinubu's government hijacked all democratic institutions. Says country on a descent into total civilian dictatorship. Coalition is for Nigerians suffering insecurity, economic hardship. The story is on page 29 of the Delhi Independent newspaper. Now community will be relegated to the shadows. That's coming from Tinubu. Reps adopt tit for tat against Senate over abuse concurrence. IMF sees Nigeria's 2025 GDP growth at 3.4% on all refining boost orders. Right after that, FG welcomes IMF endorsement. Malami resigns from APC, joins ADC, says that Tinubu's government prioritizes politics over safety of citizens. Nigerians will decide 2027 poll, not APC maneuvers. That's coming from PDP. And another bold headline on the cover page of the Delhi Independent newspaper again reads, Niger flawed, 600 missing victims now presumed dead. That's coming from Rebs. And the bottom strip headline, PDP, all the parties should partner with coalition. That's coming from Tanko. And the story is on page 6 of the Daily Independent newspaper. And I think that's how far we can go, taking a quick peep on the cover page of the newspaper this morning. But do well to join the newspaper review, still here on Voice of the People Television, on top of the hour at 10 a.m. And we'll go on a quick break. I will come back. We're ready for this topic.
Yes, ex-AGF, I beg your pardon, ex-minister, none other than Rotimi Amaechi, clearly says Tinubu cannot govern Nigeria. These and more we will be talking about when we return from this break. Stay with us.
Are you ready for the extraordinary? Something big is happening on your screen. Introducing VOP TV. Now streaming on SLTV channel 264. From breaking news to captivating conversations, news analysis, giving you all sides to the story. We bring in-depth discussions on the issues that matter, from politics to sports, entertainment, and lifestyle. VOP TV on SLTV channel 264. Join us as we redefine what television means to you. Voice of the People Television, VOP TV. Now you have more than a voice.
we encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264, VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
All right, glad to have you back. It is still VOP this morning, and just let's quickly get to the main conversation proper. A former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amaechi, has resigned from the All Progressive Congress. Amaechi stated that Nigeria is in a state of total collapse and urgently needs a complete overhaul. Speaking on Wednesday in Abuja, the unveiling of the African Democratic Congress interim executive, Amaechi accused the APC and the Independent National Electoral Commission for working together to hijack upcoming election. Amaechi confirmed that he left the APC on Tuesday night and expressed surprise that he hadn't already been expelled, saying that he had previously warned party leaders not to invite him to any more meetings. Former Attorney General of the Federation and the Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, SAN, has officially also resigned from the ruling All Progressive Congress, APC. Malami announced his defection to the African Democratic Congress as the ADC on Tuesday, July the 2nd, 2025, citing the party's alignment with a new coalition aimed at rescuing Nigeria from what he described as further decline. He noted that his decision was not made out of anger or ambition, but inspired by love for Nigeria. Interesting conversation we're having here, because when you look at this, like I said earlier when the show started, the situation of defection is currently ongoing, and we definitely cannot look past it. But let's get to it almost immediately. Joining us right here in the studio is Mr. Dele Fanimo, a veteran journalist, of course, seasoned journalist, and of course, Voice of the People TV's in-house political affairs analyst. And also in the studio, we have with us Mr. Ezike Nweze Jesus O. Yes, I pronounced that right. Ezike Nweze Jesus O. He's also the MD, Meditech Technologies Nigeria Limited. Of course, he is going to be in the capacity of a political analyst this beautiful morning. Gentlemen, a very, very good morning to you.
Good morning, David and Fina.
Good to have you join today's conversation.
Good morning to you. All right, let me start with you, Mr. Ezike. This conversation of defection is presently becoming huge. And of course, in our political landscape right now, this should be talked about. Why? Because 2027 is upon us. It's just a couple of days from now, according to some quarters. I mean, we started seeing door-to-door campaign ongoing rather than true governance. But then, let's move away from that and talk about the defection of, I don't want to use the word aggrieved members of the APC, but defection of politicians from one party to another. What's your general overview of this as it stands?
Yeah, thank you. You know, when you look at these guys, I'll tell you for a fact that the job of these politicians is to think about the next election. Okay? So now that we have election coming, they're just after their business. The likes of Rotimi and Co. The last time was ever active was in 2022.
Okay.
So Rotimi and their likes, they just want another. I still maintain the term aggrieved, you know, because they actually aggrieved. No job till since 2022. What do you expect? It's their business. They're after their business. This is not a law for Nigeria. This is law for their business. So if they have had like an appointment up to now, you don't have the likes of Rotimi and Co. And the whole coalition thing, having the likes of Rotimi mingling or meddling with the likes of Peter B and Co. Like, I think it's a kind of, I think it's a stain.
Oh, okay. I like that part when you say it's a stain. From what perspective are you talking?
I think it's a stain. Rotimi does not come off to me as someone with much credibility, okay, in governance. Yes, we can look at his last appointment as the Minister of Transport and say, oh well, he oversaw the railway project and so, but we all know his story. We all know the story of the man that had dollars in his pocket, you know.
But can we look away from the fact that his story seemed not to be, like you're saying, simply palatable? But can we look from the part of relevance in the political space in Nigeria? Do you think Rotimi Amaechi has that weight to want to pull his own followers to join in this coalition as it stands?
What followers? From where?
Oh, you think he does not have that weight?
He doesn't. He doesn't. Rotimi does not have that clout. He doesn't. He lost it.
Can we say the same thing for the likes of Nasir El-Rufai of Kaduna State, former governor of Kaduna State, and then also, you know, Malami, the former AGF of Nigeria, and even David Mark also, because these other people we learned today have tendered their resignation, or rather, what's it called? Nasir El-Rufai left APC for SDP, and then we heard today that the Malami resigned from APC, and then the likes of Rotimi Amaechi also resigned from APC. And we have other bigwigs also from PDP moving away to join this coalition. Can we say the same thing about those other political bigwigs? Like not having any weight and not having any followers?
If these bigwigs have something on their table, they will not leave.
Okay. Okay.
They will not leave their party? Or?
Yes. If they had something on their table to feed on, they won't leave.
All right, we understand. Thank you so very much for your talk. We understand that we're being joined virtually from our Benin studios, Mr. Gospel Okubo. I believe he is with us right now. Before we go to Mr. Delifanimo, a very good morning to you, Mr. Gospel.
Yeah, good morning, everyone there at the studio.
All right, welcome to the conversation.
Thank you.
All right, we seem to be having a bit of issues with your audio. I don't know if our technicians are already working on it because we can barely hear you from this end. But then we'll get back.
That is what I'm trying to work on here.
Okay.
The network is bad there because I'm doing it right now.
All right, maybe when you're settled in a couple of seconds from now, we'll come back to you. Just please get a very stable place and let's have your opinion but we are struggling to hear him. Let's come back to the studio right now. As it stands, do you think that, Mr. Delifanimo, this conversation, we've been having it since, a couple of days from now, from the movement of Rotimi Amaechi away from the APC, and then the AGF, the former AGF now, saying he's leaving because of the love for Nigeria. I see you chuckling. What's your general overview of these statements? Because I don't want to believe, according to some quarters, that this is a political statement to want to get Nigerians to follow him.
Now, it's laughable. And let me take off by telling you, and I've said this several times at different fora, that if a statesman like Winston Churchill will say, we politicians, we don't believe ourselves, why would others believe us? Is that not instructive? How can Malami, of all people, tell you somebody was a charge of bail in Lagos here before Buhari made him Minister of Justice and Attorney General, and he amassed so much wealth that he bought more than 120 SUVs and distributed to emirs and sheikhs in the north? Where did he get that money from? Within a space of 8 years. How much was he earning as a minister? And that person will now come back to you and tell you that he's doing this for the love of you and I.
Are we to blame Malami at this point in time, over the fact that, according to what he said, he was not really doing well within that legal framework before he was appointed by the president? It was the president actually who appointed him and made him the AGF.
I am telling you that the transformation from a backstreet lawyer to Attorney General of the Federation without any credible antecedent to warrant that. If you are talking about somebody like Lateef Fagbemi became the youngest senior advocate of Nigeria in this country. Go and check the history. So at 32.
Why was it that the president now couldn't look at all these things that you just pointed out?
How is it my problem?
Going over to do the appointment. No, you're Nigerian.
How is it my problem? He has the prerogative to appoint even any idiot that he wants to appoint.
Please, let's mind our statement in the language here.
Well, okay, he can appoint anybody that he wants to appoint. It is his prerogative. But we are supposed to be in the media to tell the world that this appointment is incongruous.
He was there for 8 years.
So
I want to talk to
the
part of the fact that Malami is a senior advocate of Nigeria. Are you questioning that position?
My brother, we know what goes on.
Help me understand.
We have
if you have
sound lawyers that will not have the means to get SAN. Do you know what it took the bench? I've forgotten this name now. They call it something like privileges and whatever in the body of benchers. It took them harassment, intimidation over a long time before they gave Gani Fahimi SAN. Okay. And check the history of Gani Fahimi. Gani Fahimi had gone to Supreme Court more than all the lawyers at that time. Yet they refused to give him. And there are some people that they are just within the classrooms. They never went to court to practice, and they are today SAN. So,
well, these are strong allegations.
It's not a question of strong allegation. Go and check the books.
That we need to be very, very cautious of, because
look, I am telling you. Look, I know my basic training.
Yes. My
basic training as a media person. I didn't study zoology or animal anatomy. I read mass communication as first degree. So I know the ethics of the profession, and I also know the law of libel and defamation. Okay. And you can't, a group cannot sue you. Okay. Only a person can sue you.
All right.
Nigerian Bar Association cannot sue me.
All right. Now let's get to the part where the person of Malami and of course Rotimi Amaechi presently have decamped also from the ruling All Progressive Congress. Some quarters have said these are aggrieved APC members who want to get back into power. I mean, Mr. Nweke here just said that as it stands, these guys don't have a job. More like the political offices is now a job rather than a service to the country. But let's look at the fact that these people defect to wanting to start and join this coalition. Again, the person of Rotimi Amaechi, his weight in the political landscape of Rivers State. Should we overlook that and say he's not heavyweight enough to make this coalition tick,
you see,
and give Nigerians confidence?
You see, he just said something, and I aligned with him. Amaechi out of government, and a Wike that holds Rivers. Who do you think the pendulum will swing to, as it stands today? And Fubara is under the wings of Wike today.
It's feeling the heat.
And you are talking about Amaechi. Amaechi is stranded already in River State. He's stranded. You see, all these people, I can tell you, they amount to nothing. We have not seen real coalition in the political firmament of this country. If this is the coalition that will face Tinubu, then it's dead on arrival.
Let me come back to you, Mr. Wike Jesus. Oh, where is it, Jesus? Oh, sorry, I'm so sorry. Looking at the fact that there are several challenges when it comes to coalition, the ideologies of the political elites in that space, that again, some quarters have said is going to pose another problem. But then again, looking at the fact that these people are saying, look, We want to get back Nigeria from the grip of the APC that have deepened the economy of the country to this point. Looking at ideology, political elites come and go. And again, you see them cross carpet to another party to still say the same thing that they said previously in the other party. What do you think can be a major alternative that this coalition can do different to win the confidence of Nigeria? Because yes, there is a major trust deficit all across the country when it comes to the people and the government.
I don't think they can do much. I don't think they can do much. Already, the Nigerian people know the characters of this man. You know, this is a live TV. We need to watch our words. If not, I would have said Rotimi is a thief. You know, we all know him as that. So we have men with questionable character coming to form a coalition. How can they convince Nigerian people? You know, and like, even aside that, you know, the Nigerian people have lost confidence in the electionary process. We've lost it. We saw at the end of the whole election, a young lady coming on air to cry, you know, a cry of hopelessness. Personally, I don't even think I'll vote in the next election because I know my vote won't count.
Okay,
you know?
that is you assuming right now. Let's be hopeful. Come on.
No, it's not a case of being hopeful. Like, I was really hopeful the last election. Many Nigerians were hopeful. You know, the government that is in power right now, many of us didn't vote. So it's more of like we have a president that I would consider an anomaly. He's a man that if you don't agree with him, he agrees for you.
Now, at this point in time, when you've actually set or made up this, your mind on what you're going to do in the next election, are you not still going to say that leaving or letting things be the way they are? I'm talking about the present situation of Nigeria, the issue of insecurity, bedeviling laws, the multidimensional poverty in Nigeria, and the economic wars that we're having and all that. Are we not saying that we have to fold our hands and watch that actually play out continuously?
No, it's not a case of folding our hands. It's just a case of understanding the reality of Nigeria.
So what then do you think, as a vibrant Nigerian youth, that we should do differently come next election for your voice, your vote also to count and to be heard?
The election will not save Nigeria.
So what will save Nigeria?
What can save Nigeria is a revolution.
What type of revolution are you talking about or looking at?
We're looking at a revolution that will replace all these band wagons of politicians. A revolution that will bring in statesmen and not politicians into government.
Let's get a bit personal. Nigerian youth come up to say we want to protest hunger in the land. They want to protest the bad governance and all that, and they organize that particular protest from 1st of August till 10th of August 2025. We saw what played out and all that. Now, can you in confidence say you were part of that? Did you actually give in your voice or even come out, you know, to say Nigeria actually is suffering, Nigerians are hungry, let me join or be part of this particular protest? Because that is more like a way. It is constitutional for Nigerians, for people to protest. It's civil right now. Were you part of that?
Yes, I was part of that. I gave my voice, I gave my full support. I came out. But what ended it? The politicians, they had the last laugh. They came out, they killed us. They killed the last hope that we had.
How possible was that? No, David, no, he said that the politicians killed their hope. And how possible was that when, you know, we heard at the end of the day that some persons actually, some youths were protesting against the people who were protesting bad governance in Nigeria. Is it the politicians now that are to blame, or, you know, the people who decided
We all know that they funded touts to come and protest against the people. You know, we have a president that, if you allow me to say, is the president of touts.
Well, that would not be a very palatable statement to want to say on TV. So
yes.
I would urge that we manage our words here. But then let's get to our virtual guest all the way from Benin City. I'm talking about Comrade Gospa Okubo. I believe he is with us right now. Comrade, let's have your opinion on the conversation ongoing.
All right. I can barely hear you people from here. The line is skipping. It just
okay. So
the thing is there right here.
I don't know if you can hear us now because we can hear you clearly. What is your overview of the conversation we've been having thus far, particularly on the defection of politicians from the ruling party and, of course, opposition party to form coalition.
Okay. Thank you. Well, to say first is that the campaign is not a new thing to us. We have seen politicians, we have known them, where they are not surviving in a particular political party, they find a way to decamp to where they can survive. I said it in one of our programs some time ago that their interest is not about the success of the Nigerian people. It's not about the well-being. It's not about good governance. Their interest is about themselves. It's about their families. That is why the decamping, they don't think twice. Once they are offended, once things is not going on well for them, they decamp. Now look at the coalition that they are talking about. What is the ideology of the coalition, of the new party they are trying to form? That is my worries. They are still going to use the same level of ideology how they have been running in their former parties to run this one. That is the problem. You see now? So their idea is still based on where they are coming from. I tell you, when they succeed in forming this coalition, you will see that there's no difference between this coalition and where they are coming from. You see what they said? It's about unseating the person that they are not in line. Maybe their beliefs is no longer the same. The idea is no longer the same. So they want to unseat him, not because they have better plan for Nigeria.
So are you saying that this coalition talk is already dead on arrival? Because from the presidency, they say that the ADC conclave it happens to be a conclave of internally displaced politicians. Are we towing also that line at this point in time?
You see, look at the people that want to form coalition. They said, show me your friends, I will tell you who you are. It is the people that want to form it. If we have some Nigerians who are not even that going to politics before, who will not stood and say, oh, let's make this move for this purpose. It is understood. Everybody will get a clear understanding. Not people who think they have been offended, they have not been given the opportunity to be in certain positions. And so therefore, they are finding ways to climb. That is the essence of this coalition. We are not seeing the interest of Nigeria in it.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade.
We are not seeing it. That is the sincere truth. So it is about themselves.
All right, thank you so much, Comrade, for your submission. Now let's bring it back to the studio. Mr. Delifanimo, according to what the Comrade said, he said, we are not seeing people who have the interests of Nigerians at heart. And then from this, the permutation, or rather the discussion around the merger, the coalition, ADC and all that, there's a particular man that Nigerians have been pointing fingers towards. I'm talking about the youth now. I'm talking about Peter Gregory Obi, the former presidential candidate on the Labour Party. He is also part of these people who are getting, we're not campaigning for anybody at this point in time. But if we come up to say, according to what Shore put up yesterday, he says that he is not going to be in coalition with someone who also did something for Sani Abacha, the Tinker's Port, some time ago. And he reeled out the reason he's distancing himself from this coalition. Now, are we seeing this particular permutation or coalition?
Who was he referring to?
He was talking to Peter Obi at this point in time. Are we going to see it?
He also worked with Abacha.
Yes. He said he cleared goods for him at Tinker's Port and all that. Are we going to see this particular coalition collapse even before, the 2027 election arrives?
I have said it in my opening speech here that this coalition is dead on arrival.
And what is the way forward?
Now, you see, the way forward. But before I arrive at the way forward, let me paint the clear scenario that is going to happen. The people from the south, Amaechi, Peter Obi, and the rest of them, are going to be used by the northerners to snatch power from the south for another 8 years. And at that time, their arithmetic would have come to fruition. The northerners are not looking at since 1960 when Nigeria became independent and the number of years both military and civilian administrations had spent. When you look at that, the northerners had spent close to 47 years out of about 60 years. 65. So what is left for the South is just infinitesimal. Right from Gowon, apart from Aguiyi Ironsi, who else from the South? Up to Gowon to Muritala, Muritala to Buhari. Obasanjo came in by providence. The same way Jonathan came in by providence. After Obasanjo, Shagari came in. From Shagari, we had Obasanjo again.
Okay. So
now, look at the number of years. But what they are saying in the North, let me analyze this. It's not for us in the studio, for Nigerians to understand the mindset of those people that are coming together. They are just like foxes. And they are trying to outwit themselves. And when you have people like that have mutual distrust in working for them in their midst, what they are heading to perdition. Now, the Northerner is not talking about 1960. They are talking about 1999 today. And they are telling you that the Northerners have only served 10 out of 26 years as it stands today. And by 2027, it will be 28. So, which means the Southerners have utilized 18 years and they only have 10. So, surreptitiously, they are using these people to corner power again.
All right, now
so that they can level up.
I will stay with you on this, really. And I want to ask, based on the statements accredited to former Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amaechi, saying that INEC and the APC are working hand in hand to hijack the next election. Looking at that conversation, do you think voters' confidence going into the next election would have any strength in the next election?
You see, it is better for us to properly situate issues, especially on a national television like this, rather than rely so much on speculation. Myself and my partner here, we have already agreed that these people are aggrieved. And an aggrieved person can lie anytime. So why are you holding on to Amaechi's lies?
Now, one of the reasons why I brought up that part of Amaechi's conversation as concerning INEC
is on the part of Has he not been a past beneficiary of that? Why did he not protest against it? When he was benefiting from it?
Now, Mr. Fadimo, I'm particular about voters' confidence. The last election, Mr. Yakub did tell Nigerians that the beavers would work, and of course, results will be transmitted on that particular day of election. Most of the beavers did not work on that day. There were several complications using the beavers. Voters' confidence is where I'm talking to, Mr. Fadimo.
But you took me away from that. You didn't allow me to land.
Okay, go ahead.
And I want to emphasize this because I am here to inform, educate. Entertainment is not part of this program. So allow me to inform Nigerians on the trajectory of what is going on now.
You know, because we're pressed for time.
That's basically why I
wanted
us to manage the time as well.
You should have allowed me, and then maybe you.
So what's the way forward? Since you've already pointed out that the likes of Amaechi benefited from such faulty, INEC and all that.
What's the way forward for
how do we get out of this?
Particularly on voters' confidence.
Let me tell you, we are too lazy and docile for us to wrestle power from these people. Regardless of ADC, SDP, APC, Labour Party, and all the rest, everybody in all the political capital, parties, they are scavengers, scavenging for themselves, and it's a survivor of the fittest game. Whoever is able to grab power becomes the dominant factor until when that power is wrestled away from him. And that is the lot of Nigerians. So we'll continue to groan and groan and groan because this thing you are talking about, okay, election didn't count. Some people won in places that ordinarily they wouldn't have won in that election.
Right.
And some people lost in places that it felt it was a stronghold. So how much of what we are saying is we are complicit in what is happening to us as far as politics is concerned in Nigeria. You and I, we know, I have covered elections since 1993.
Okay.
And I know how people compromise during election day when they see 5,000, 10,000.
Okay. Because of our
So
time,
when you have people like that, how much of convincing do you want to give that you extract commitment that they will not collect money?
You know, that was why we've actually established all those things that we call the faults that we're finding. You know, we've actually established every other thing we have as our own vice and our own loopholes. And we're asking, how then are we going to fix Nigeria? Only if you're, saying that you're comfortable with the way Nigeria is at this point in time.
Change the value system.
And then you don't think that we need to work on anything.
Change the value system. Ghana has led us in their last election.
How do we change the value system?
Of rice to some communities.
And they rejected
and chased them away. Let's begin to have that here. Then the politicians will now know that they will be returned to office based on what they have done, not how much money they have amassed to bribe the electorate.
Change the value system. These are the words of Mr. Dele Fanimo. And then the question that comes to mind is, how soon would the legislators have a conversation, particularly on electoral reforms? But then again, because of our time, let's just dive into another conversation quickly. The ADC National Chairman, Ralph Nwosu, hands over, of course, presents membership cards to David Mark and Rauf Aregbesola. These and more we will be talking about in a second conversation just after this quick break. You best want to stay with us. We'll be right back.
All right, welcome back. It's still VOP this morning. Former National Chairman of the African Democratic Congress, ADC, Chief Ralph Nwosu, has formally handed over and presented the membership card of the party to a former Senate President, David Mark, and a former Governor of Osun State, Rauf Aregbesola, as the interim new National Chairman and National Secretary, respectively. Leaders and members of the opposition coalition had converged on the Yaradua Center in Abuja for a meeting. And his acceptance speech, ex-Senator David Mark called on Nigerians to join the coalition of opposition parties, saying the movement is set to rescue the country from collapse and rebuild its democracy. He explained that the coalition of national political opposition groups goes beyond gaining political power, but it is a concerted effort to rebuild the crumbling pillars of Nigeria's democracy. In his words, the mission is clear: rescue Nigeria, rebuild Nigeria, return power to the people. We still have with us in the studio Mr. Dele Fanimo, a veteran journalist and a political analyst, and also from our Benin studios, or from Benin, in Edo State, to have Comrade Godspar Ekumbo, who is the Secretary General to Edo Civil Society Organization. And we have also with us in the studio ZK Nweze Jesus, or who is the MD Meditech Technologies Nigeria Limited. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being part of the second conversation. Now, let me start off with you, Comrade Godspar Ekumbo. The new party that we're having this permutation, or rather, there's major talks or coalition talks with ADC. The former chairman handed over a membership card, and also will I say appointment, will I say certificate now, to people whom they've tagged their leaders, the national chairman and national secretary, respectively, David Mark and Rauf Aregbesola. Do you think at this point in time that this is more like a good step in the right direction, given the fact that some members of the party before now actually were hoping that if we are going to have a change in the cadre, I'm talking about the organogram of the party, it has to do with people who have been members of the party, not just new intake. What do you have to say about this? Moving swiftly to handing over the important positions to new intakes into the party at this point in time. I did that desperate award. Help us walk around that, please.
Okay, like we all know, all these are strategy. They want to win election. It's not new. It is normal to have new intake and quickly welcome them with the party identity cards or with position, as the case may be. And they are coming up newly and they are trying to to gain ground. Yes, the needful must be done, and that is what they have started doing. I don't want to put it desperately, but I know it's part of the process. They need to get their executive, and the world need to see that these persons are with us by giving them their identity card and becoming member of the executive at the party level. My own concern is their interests. You know, now they have collapsed, they have rejoined, they have, begin to campaign now. They are coming to tell Nigerians what they have also told Nigerians when they were in the former parties. When they were telling Nigerians that this is the right party to vote for, this is who we want to vote for, they have forgotten that. Now they are coming back to tell us this is their new party and this is how they want to go. Well, you have said it, if that is desperation. To me, the desperation there, I don't want to see it as per the way you are putting it now. I'm seeing it as their interest to gain more powers, to make more money than they have ever made. Remember, I told you earlier that the essence for what they are doing now, the coalition and the forming of new parties, is strictly because they have not been able to gain the kind of power or the position they want to gain in where or at the party that they came from.
As a Nigerian, let me ask this question now, comrade. As a Nigerian, looking at what is happening in Nigeria at this point in time, do you think that Nigeria needs the shift in governance that some persons are championing, irrespective of the people who are sponsoring or people who happen to be at the forefront of this particular talks?
Yes, Nigeria truly needs a big shift. But you know, the problem is still with Nigerians. We are talking about politicians now. I don't think even as small as a 5-year child will tell you who Nigeria, what define a Nigeria politician. So we already know them. It will take, like I said earlier, a set of new persons who are not even involved in any of this party to come in, and Nigeria will now say, okay, let's try and see. Okay. For me, those politicians who have involved in party A, B, like APC, PDP, and what have you, I don't trust them anymore.
Can you tell us, but we know in Nigeria, for example, you know, looking at the people who are there, I'm talking about the political bigwigs in Nigeria, they are all products of PDP, most of them majorly, or another party, and they have this history of cross-carpeting. Can we say we have that virgin politician who are going to project or present at this point in time to lead this talk for coalition or possible merger for 2027 election?
I don't know if I get you clearly, but what I was about to say is what you are saying. If these people are from these parties, now they are coming in the name of another party, they cannot provide solution to the problem of Nigeria. I don't know if that answered you.
All right.
So far, because as far as I know, where they are coming from, they only left a party. They did not leave the ideology.
Okay.
They left a gathering. They are still coming with the same level of understanding and the models they have been operating as a political groups.
All right.
Or what have you.
Thank you so very much.
It all depends on Nigeria.
Okay.
We have to reject them in every way we can.
All right. What's a way to draw anchor on your thoughts there? Well, let's go to our Abuja studio where we're being told right now that we have with us, joining us virtually, Mr. Jide Ojo, a development consultant and a columnist with the Punch newspaper. Mr. Jide, very, very good morning to you, and thank you for joining this conversation. I don't know if you can hear me, Mr. Jide Ojo. Please help unmute yourself at this point. We can barely hear you, Mr. Jide Ojo. Please help us unmute your microphone right now so we can have
Okay, I can hear you.
Okay, all right, fantastic. Thank you so very much for joining this conversation. Well, the ongoing conversation around defection and, of course, the coalition and the people, the political elites who are involved in this coalition, from your broad overview, what is your position with this defection, which we know is very normal with the political landscape all across the world? But what is your overview of these defection, and of course the statements coming from these men saying they want to rebuild and take Nigeria back to the people? What's your general overview first off?
Okay, Thank you. Good morning, Nigerians. My own take is that it's a welcome development. In every democracy, you cannot prevent people from gathering. It's part of fundamental human rights. I think Section 40 of the Constitution and some other sections of the Constitution talks about fundamental rights of citizens to gather, to associate, right to freedom of association, freedom to form political groups, freedom to form civil society organizations. And I do not see anything wrong with what, well, not that I didn't see anything wrong with the way ADC emerged yesterday, but I will say they have not breached any law and they are free to coalesce as they want. But what I would have expected them to do was to do the needful. You don't register to be a member of a party from the top. You have to go to your ward to register to be a member. And I do not also like this issue of pro tem national chairman, acting national chairman, acting national secretary. When somebody resigned from PDP yesterday morning, by 3-4 hours after, you are already pronouncing him acting chairman of another party. This is not a newly registered party. This is the party that has been in existence for over 15 years. So what about those who have been in that party? Do their votes count? Was there any NEC meeting, any NWC meeting, any convention where this decision to embrace these people was taken? In fact, 2 days ago, Raaf Aregbesola, who we know to still be a member of the APC, already read out his acceptance speech as the national secretary when there was an external national secretary. And that in itself would generate a lot of bad blood. People are likely going to push back. I foresee a situation where there will be a series of litigation. You possibly must have read what the publicity secretary of ADC, the statement he released yesterday morning, that the party is not for sale, and that even Rafun Wosu, who is the acclaimed chairman until yesterday, has had his tenure terminated way back 2023, and that the case is still in court. So when you have series of litigation, that's what has slowed down the recovery rate of PDP, of Labour Party, and of SDP, and several others. So you are likely going to see all manner of litigations on this, and don't be surprised that the ruling APC will not also fold its arm. Like the president said, was it last week in Nasarawa State, that these people are political IDPs. They are political IDPs. But whether they are political IDP or not, I don't think APC should take them for granted. David Mark was a former brigadier general, former military administrator in Niger State, former minister of communications, former president of the Senate on 2 occasions, and he has seen it all. People like Audu Ogbe has been in the corridor of power since the Second Republic. People like John Odige Oyegun. Odige Oyegun was governor in 1992 when Asiwaju Bola Tinubu was just a senator. And so you have very experienced people. Even Rotimi Amaechi had been in the last 26 years, 25 of those 26 years he's been in the corridor of power, from being a 2-time Speaker of Rivers State House of Assembly. He was 2-time governor of the state, 2-time Minister of Transportation. So you have this political heavyweight. But what I'm trying to say is that they need to do the right thing. To build a party into a winning platform takes more than just press statements and media rantings. They need to have properly conducted world congresses, local government congresses, state congresses, and national convention, where substantive executive of the party will be put in place. And time is of essence here, because if they can't do that before the end of 2026, they will just be too distracted. But you can take this to the bank, my brother. They will be distracted by all manner of litigations. They will be in and out of court, because don't also think that APC does not have mold in this new coalition. The APC has its own mold, but it will be to the detriment of APC if he thinks that he can just wave the ADC aside. Even though we have seen ADC as being touted as the third force way back in 2019, but it was of no moment despite the fact that they were adopted or they got the endorsement of former President Olusegun Obasanjo then, that is in 2019. But they didn't achieve much despite that endorsement. So this is the second coming of a kind of to be a coalition platform. But to just ride roughshod on the members of the party and just yielded the platform to a new set of people from day one of their joining the party, you have already given them executive position in the National Working Committee. That doesn't sit well with me, and that's why some people are saying that this is like coming through the back door. It's like coming to office through the back door, which does not go well for the party. But they should be prepared for all manner of litigations ahead of 2027.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jide Ojo, for that submission. It's quite an elaborate one. Now, let's bring it back to the studio. Mr. Ezeke Nwaize Jesus, sure. What do you really have to say about this one? I know you're against the people who are actually championing this coalition already, because you actually talked about them and what they were able to do while they were in office. But now that we're looking at the fact that just yesterday, a group of people moved to a particular political party, the membership card was presented to them, and we heard that some of them have occupied strategic position, though on the phase of acting in that particular party, the ADC. What do you have to say about this, given the fact that some persons are pointing fingers in that direction that is going to be a big problem for that party, for the coalition talk and measure?
Yeah, thank you. It's going to be a big problem, quite all right, but let's look at the list of these people that have defected, and let's look at the list of people that are from this coalition. There's something that the last speaker said correctly, is that these people are experienced politicians. What is their experience? Experience in impoverishing Nigerians, experience in creating poverty. As we speak right now, our poverty index is around 0.257. Some states have poverty as high as 90%. What is the experience? What are they coming to do differently? What we need is a total overhaul. This is not a case of coming to speak English to Nigerians. This is not a case of deliberating to Nigerians on using. This is a stage to come and play with words.
But when you say we need a total overhaul, before you give a concluding thought, what specifically are you referring to when you say a total overhaul?
A total overhaul, I've said it here before. We need a revolution. We need to kick these guys out.
And then bring who in? Let me start with that question. Bring who in? Politicians who are not visible to the people, or persons who Nigerians also do not have an idea of?
It's a case of bringing somebody who has not been in the political space, who has credibility in doing things correctly, and for now, we don't actually have anybody in view.
I like the fact that you just used that statement, because I was going to ask you for now. Please, maybe you can help us with one or two names. But then you just said for now we don't have that in view. But looking at the fact that we have these men in view, what do you think should the people start doing to getting it right come 2027?
If you want me to fall back to this man, I won't. There's no hope.
It's your choice, actually.
There's no hope.
Okay.
We have before now we used to have Vision 2020, but that we're in 2025. The same politicians. Now we are talking about them coming together to do something different in 2027. Nothing is going to change. Things are going to get worse. These men over time have created a poverty system for Nigerians, and that's what they are going to continue to do. We are living in a country where our politicians are seen as celebrities. We are living in a country where even our own supposed celebrities see our political class as a higher celebrity. So if you want to actually become big in whether you are in the entertainment sector or whatever, link up with these guys in politics. You know, the last time we saw Wike buying Rolls Royce. Rolls Royce from where? From government money. Somebody that have been in government like for the past 20 years. Where did he get the money from? And nobody's asking questions. And these are the same bandwagon of people you want us to continue with, only in the name of coalition. That's English. Just look at this thing critically and look at them for who they are. There's no hope. We need all of them out. We need to sweep them out.
So now you've made mention of us not having any hope. We need to sweep them out, like you said. Okay. Now the question now we're asking is, how then are we going to do that? Because in Nigeria we don't have independent candidacy. It's not there. For now, you know, if I'm to use that word for now. So how then do you think it will be possible? You know, if we're to check it out now, I would have said, let me ask another person the question, but on this particular time, we have to make it in a broader way. How many Nigerian youths belong to a particular political party? Are you a card bearer of any party at this point in time? How then do you think that the change you're talking about will come in? If we are all running away from this political space, saying these people are not good, they are doing us bad and all that, but yet you're not doing the needful, then what do you think should be done at this time for us to get it right?
Yes, the needful that you're talking about is for me to get involved in a democratic process, right? Where's the democracy? Where is the voice of the people being heard? There's no democracy for me to partake in. The democracy that we have is a farce. It's not real.
Oh, well, let's come to Mr. Dele Fanimo. Mr. Jide did say quite a number of things that I was going to ask him at the time, but I just had to allow him continue, and he was really talking on them. A few days ago, Ogbeni Rauf Alegbeshola did reel out his acceptance speech as the interim secretary of the ADC, whereas there is a substantive one before that time. Let's look at the movement of these men and, of course, the party ADC and the magic at which this party has done in the past couple of days to bring in these men, onboarding them into the National Working Committee. How much of a desperation, according to some quarters, would the ADC accept for Nigerians to see them as credible as we move into 2027?
You see, the driving force of picking that political party is very simple. That letter A. That's the only reason. Because with ADC comes before APC in the ballot. That's the only driving force. There was no way they would have picked ZLP.
Yeah.
And some of these other parties that the alphabet starts with maybe Y or whatever it is. And the only nearer political party they would have picked was Wore's party, AAC, that comes before ADC and APC. But Shawara will not allow them.
So you think this is about the name and acronym of a party?
That's the way politicians think.
So why then did they wait for the ADA to mature for them to actually leverage it?
They are not too sure if it will be registered or not. There's still a hurdle. And another thing that is also instructive about what we have been talking about here is that what makes you think that APC will not pick the remnants of ADC and use it against these people? Already, Nwosu that handed over had been expelled. The case is still in court. And you know our judiciary, how they work. They are already stepping on landmines from day one that would explode them on them. By the time we get to a point that litigation starts, maybe mid next year, it will be too late to warehouse what is left of ATC to another political party. The point is, when you are fixated on greed, wisdom takes flight. And that's what's happening to this coalition. They have set their eyes on the ball, which is take Tinubu out, put somebody else there. And that somebody else that is playing like he's not interested is Atiku. Atiku will come so strong that anybody in that party will not be able to withstand him when the time is right.
You think this is practically about him?
Do you need anybody to tell you? I told you the background that the North wants 8 years at a stretch, and they can't wait for until 2031. Who is going to be the arrowhead? Is it Elufai that has lost it in Kaduna?
But then again, Mr. Fanimo, let's look at the part of litigation with this party, ADC. As it stands, the chairman who just handed over to David Mark has been expelled, just like you rightly mentioned earlier. If litigations go further into 2027, wouldn't that be a hindrance for the party ADC going into the polls?
Is that, let me tell you, if I'm in APC, from the way they have run it themselves into cul-de-sac, all APC needs to do is to wait until close to the election and use these elements that they sidelined overnight, and the court will just give verdict, and then everybody will be stranded. You know what happened in Zamfara now? A whole lot of House of Assembly, Senate, and all the rest, including the governor, they were swept off last minute.
Oh, well, because of our time, really, we need to just jump off this conversation and get to the next conversation quickly. The army chief claims Nigerian army has denied terrorists opportunity to destroy the nation's border. These and more we would be talking about when we return. Oh, yes, we have to also let our guest here, Mr. Wednesday, to leave. Thank you so very much for your time. We appreciate you. All right, we have to take this quick break. When we return, that conversation will be up next. Do stay with us.
We encourage you to click on the like button and subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are Voice of the People TV. Also follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at VOP TV Live. Visit our website www.vop.ng for fresh and trending news. Also watch us live on SLTV channel 264. VOP TV, Voice of the People Television.
The red carpets, awards, the razzmatazz, music, fashion, interviews, and more. Spotlight on Voice of the People Television. Let's feed you with all the juicy stories in the global entertainment space, bringing you the glitz and glamour as it is hot. Stay tuned to Spotlight, 1 p.m. Monday to Friday. Spotlight on VOP TV. Entertainment like never before.
Everybody keep watching Voice of the People. All right? Love you all.
Hello, sweetie. What's going on? My name is Kiki. Keep watching VOP TV. Thanks.
Hey guys, what's going on? Olumide Oru, the Fresh Prince of Lagos here, and this is VOP TV, guys.
Hello guys, I want you to please keep on watching VOP TV.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Hafiz Oyetoro. Please keep watching VOP TV.
Shout out to VOP TV.
Very big shout out to the fans and lovers of VOP TV. My name is Tayo Faduro. I'm an actor that you are gonna live to love. Keep watching. Cheers.
All right, glad to have you back. It is still VOP this morning. And quickly, let's get to the next conversation. The Chief of Army Staff, Olufemi Oloyede, says the Nigerian Army has denied terrorists, whom he described as the enemies of peace and agents of chaos, the chance to disrupt the nation's border. Oluyede, Lieutenant General, also vowed that the ground force would not relent in dealing with those who are hell-bent on sabotaging the perpetuity of Nigeria's democracy. The top army officer stated these at the Army Headquarters Abuja on Wednesday when he briefed defense correspondents on the activities lined up for the Nigerian Army Day celebration 2025 just yesterday. The military's high command disclosed that its troops attached with Operation Hardin Kai killed at least 10 terrorists during a fierce gun duel when they combed some Boko Haram terrorist enclaves in the Lake Chad Basin. Well, still joining us in the studios is Mr. Daly Fanimo, a seasoned reporter and, of course, a political analyst. And yes, joining us from our Benin studio virtually is Comrade Gospar Okubo. And also joining us all the way from Abuja is Mr. Jide Ojo, who is also a columnist with the Punch newspaper. Once again, gentlemen, thank you for staying with us on this conversation. Well, I'm going to start with you, Mr. Jide Ojo. Interestingly, the Army Chief is really reeling out things that have been achieved under his watch with, of course, the military. But some quarters have said that these conversations of insurgency not getting to find the lasting solution to all of these seem to be the bane of conversation across Nigeria. Insecurity, like you would know, has caused some farmers not to hit their farms to, of course, get things for themselves in terms of funding and help their family. Looking at these, the broad overview of some Nigerians is the fact that insecurity is still at the largest pace. What is your personal overview of the statement of the Army Chief and, of course, how Nigerians feel when it comes to insecurity in the land?
Very much. Insecurity in Nigeria is a new normal, something we have to live with. I don't want to live in deception that it's going to go away soon, because we are in a world, an interconnected world, where terrorism have gained traction across borders. And there are no easy solutions, whether you like it or not. We all have to be involved as citizens to take charge of our own personal security, because there's just little the government can do. Yes, it's in Section 14, subsection 2B of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria that security and welfare of citizens shall be the primary purpose of government. But we do know that the variables, the factors, the pull factors that are responsible for insecurity are very much alive and with us. You talk of high level of poverty, high level of unemployment, issue around drug abuse, issue of porous border, issue of not having enough personnel to tackle this insecurity, not deploying technology enough in the fight against insecurity, issue around religious ideologues. So these are not easy. There are not going to be easy solutions. But to minimize or to reduce to barest minimum this issue of insecurity. Look at it now. In the contemporary time, we are now talking of even cyber security challenge. So it's not just physical, but also cyber security concern that we now have. So all said and done, I think across the three tiers of government, all hands have to be on deck. Luckily, I think we need to tinker with our laws. This whole issue and reluctance to allow for state policing system, I don't think it's going to be helpful in the long run. I know the IG of police and successive Inspector General of Police have been kicking against establishment of state police for fear that the politicians will misuse this and all of that. But then politicians are already misusing federal police. So how worse can it get? You are talking of funding not being enough for our military, our armed forces, and even the police. Since 2020, we have the establishment of Police Equipment Trust Fund. But how much of resources have that trust fund been able to gather? You see dilapidating barracks and police stations all over around you. If you go to a police station today, the likelihood that you have to pay for money, you have to pay money for the purchase of stationery to even take your statement is very high. Police are ill-equipped, operational vehicles are rickety, there is no interest for them to buy fuel. Imagine police going on patrol with 4 liters of fuel. How do you want to chase criminals when they're on the run? So there's millions of problems, but I think we need to just have a global view of what needs to be done. And I have articulated on several media platforms, including my column in the Punch newspaper, where I have said we need to deploy more technology. My people in the studio, look at how Israel has been able to ward off security threats from all its Arab neighbors. It's not even that they are sending troops into Lebanon or to Syria or to Palestine or to Iran. Most of this fight has been largely through the Air Force, through the air defense systems. You see missiles being shot at Israel and Israel shooting back, and very limited ground force intervention. Do we have that kind of investment in technology that can help us to ward off external aggression like Israel has done with the support of US anyway? So we need to deploy technology. If insurgents and terrorists can deploy drones to know and to monitor, to survey where our troops are located, why can't Nigerian state fund the armed forces to also have very high-tech surveillance satellite dish that can even zero down to the bedroom of these insurgents? They meet somewhere. We have always been told that they're in Sambisa Forest and Mandara Mountains and all of that. But these are not in heaven. They are on this planet Earth. And people see them. And I've heard from military personnel that when you talk of Sambisa Forest, it's not a thick forest as we have in the southern Nigeria. That is just a savanna vegetation where you can see kilometers ahead. So why can't we deploy very sophisticated satellite imagery system that can capture the exact location of these insurgents and take them out? You have seen how the U.S. force have killed Osama bin Laden and even his deputy that was eliminated 2 years ago in Afghanistan. It was an unmanned drone that was deployed to kill the deputy.
Mr. Ojo, do you think that Nigeria as a nation and politicians that we have in Nigeria has a political will for us to end the issue of insecurity in Nigeria? Because at this point in time, we're told that any issue of insecurity that lasts in this nation for over 48 hours at the hands of the government is an end. This was a pronouncement or a statement made by a big wig in Nigeria.
Well, my sister, what I will tell you for free is that there is what is called political economy of insecurity. We are taught years back that the military high command, some undesirable elements in the Nigerian military, does not want this war to end because it has become their honey pot. It has become their cash cow, where they receive a lot. You can see that our budget for defense and security has been the highest. Since our new budgeting system in Nigeria, the military and the police always take the highest of every budget.
And yet we are where we are in Nigeria, right?
Where we are.
Okay.
Look at the Nigeria defense. There is DICON. There is DICON in Kaduna that is supposed to manufacture rifles and tear gas and weapons for the armed forces. But that place is comatose. we have to import even betting from abroad. Betting.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Ojo.
Funding and also accountability.
We're pressed for time, so we'd like to get the opinion of the guests who have in the studio also about this particular topic. And now, Mr. Fanimo, I think last week or thereabout, the CDS wrote a book on how we're going to end the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. And the book, it says, a stand against insurgency, terrorism, and banditry in Nigeria, admonishing to Nigerian youths for them to join in making sure that they, if not being part of the people who carry the arms, they should be there to feed in with information so that the security personnel will be able to carry out their attack, or rather, the bombardment on insurgent group members in Nigeria. In that book, he said something that actually interests us, or interests me personally. He said that when he was profiling solution to how we're going to end the issue of insecurity, he says, Nigerian youths will read and comprehend the concept of terrorism and help to detect terrorist attacks in their communities, such as unusual behavior, abandoned packages, suspicious vehicles, threatening languages, and gathering of individuals. Even as this happens, cultivation and maintenance of essential family values such as love, tolerance, honor, and empathy, as well as encouragement of development as grassroots also help to curb the issue of insecurity in Nigeria. How does the CDS expect Nigerian youths who have watched their fathers or maybe any member of their family being killed by insurgent members or terrorist groups, and at the end of the day, they see these people being reintegrated back into the society through the de-radicalization process? And how do they expect them, or how does the CDS expect these youths now to have the faith and trust in Nigeria as a nation and in the government also to help them to fight insecurity, especially when they are seeing the people who have caused them so much harm back into society untouched?
You see, we are just playing the ostrich as far as security problems that is bedeviling us is supposed to be resolved in our favor. The point is, the person you said should be supplying information. At what point will he supply information? When Yawata is not in the heart of Makurdi, the state capital.
Right.
The nearest police formation is probably 30 minutes drive. A youth that is not empowered will now use his last kobo to move to the state capital or the nearest divisional police headquarters to give information that would be relayed to the assailant, and you now become the target. We have seen people being betrayed in the past in the course of supplying information. So it's a difficult thing. Let it not be passed, even when the chief of army staff, during the Yewata issue,
yes,
confirmed that, the CDS confirmed that there was information to that attack, that the only mistake they made was they didn't get the location right. How could you have done that? How could you have said that? Now, who is that person that want to give information tomorrow when the information you give that is critical, that would have saved 200 lives,
was not used?
How are you going to rely on that kind of agency to protect you in future?
We would definitely love you to continue on your thoughts, but because of our time, really, we need to just draw anchor on the conversation this beautiful morning. But then again, we would urge you to join us in a couple of minutes from now, 10 a.m. West African time. That, of course, will be where we will be looking at the newspaper analysis in, of course, the broader conversation. This is where we have to draw anchor on this. So many thanks to everyone who, of course, made this possible. And to our guest, Mr. Dele Fanimo, a veteran journalist and, of course, a political analyst. And from our Benin studios, we had Comrade Gospel Kubo, who also joined us virtually. I want to say thank you so very much for joining us. And we also want to appreciate Mr. Nweze Jesus O, who also joined us. And, of course, Mr. Jide Ojo, the Punch newspaper columnist who joined us virtually from Abuja. Would urge you, Mr. Jide, to stay with us as we go into the newspaper in a couple of minutes from now. But as we go, I want to say thank you so very much for everyone who made this possible on behalf of myself and all of the guys at the back, at the technical end, who made it possible. And of course, on behalf of my colleague, Fina Okechukwu in the studio, I am David Edwin saying, do have an amazing morning ahead. God bless Nigeria.